good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Today's video is pretty cool. Today we are in Waterloo in a very cool location known as the Vaults, which is also known as Graffiti Tunnel. And behind me, for the eagle-eyed people, you might realise what we're going to see today. We are going to the Serial Killer exhibition. This is an exhibition that's not always in London, actually it tours the entire world, and there is an audio tour to go along with it too. Apparently it takes about 4 hours to walk around, so we better start to get in that queue. I hope you find this as interesting as I know I will. As soon as I heard that this was a thing, I bought tickets and I had to come down and see it. And today is currently, if you will, Halloween Eve, so I feel like this is very suitable. Don't know how much I can really show you. There is a lot to look at, but also a lot of gory things as well. Also, I think we've come at the right time as it's starting to get real busy in the first room. So this is a bit of a mad thing to say, but I know you can't feel sorry for people and what they did and their crimes, but if you can a little bit, the one person I feel sorry for is Aileen Wuornos. I just think her story is incredibly sad. I've always had a weird fascination with her. I just feel that if she got the love and support that she deserved, this would have never have happened. I don't like the fact it's taking a long time. Oh, this makes the person you rated 5% more psychopathic than the average person. Oh, it's a bit back for someone else. I would argue these, Fred and Rose West and Ian Brady and Maya Hindley, are possibly the most well known in the UK. I'm sure it was Cromwell Street. Yes, there we go. 25 Cromwell Street, this all happened. And if you can't immediately think who Ian Brady and Maya Hindley are, they're also known by the Moors murders. Always makes me laugh about how many of these people had Bibles. There's something completely ironic about that. I do totally understand why this could take you 4 hours. There is on the bottom of every single one of these this summary of the description, I guess, of each individual killer. I mean, this is number 41. We'll see how many are at the end, but when you first come to the exhibition, you are given a QR code which you load up on your phone, and then you can use your headphones to listen to audio regarding each individual killer, which is fantastic. But if you were to do that for every single killer, yes, I totally understand it could take you 4 hours to do it. Now, I don't know what that says about me, but I have been kind of very quickly reading things about certain killers as I've previously done research on them. So the thing I'm mostly interested in are all of the real pieces of information, because this is fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and things that you will never see otherwise. The level of information is fantastic. So for anyone who watches the series Monsters, the next person they're focusing on is Ed Gein, however you want to say it. He was a truly interesting character. Passed away now from cancer, but really, really interesting. He also inspired a whole number of films. Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't know if you can see that clearly, but it says, when I see a pretty girl walking down the street, one part of me wants to take her out, talk to her, be real nice and sweet, and treat her right, and also what her head would look like on a stick. This is very cool though. Wait for it up there. If I could get that like faux, I would have that in the house. That's very cool. Not if it was real. So literally, as I step into the next room, we were just talking about horror films, and there you are. Ah, of course. Yep, Voorhees, Jason Voorhees as well. Of course. That's probably the most iconic one. How I didn't remember that, I don't know. Today is also the day before Halloween, the 30th of October, and for some reason this feels incredibly fitting to be here looking at all of this. Michael C. Hall has signed his picture of Dexter there. That's cool. That's interesting the way that's spelled. Missing the H on the way in. The gentleman who was doing the security checks was telling me that people are touching these too much and potentially breaking them, but they're not behind glass or anything, so you absolutely could, and I see why you would want to, but it kind of ruins it for everyone else, and it ruins keeping it preserved for a very long time. So I'm not too sure why this one is particularly here, only because I wouldn't necessarily deem this guy as a serial killer. So I believe he only had one victim, and weirdly it was a victim that consented to being eaten. Very strange case, but I'm sure it was only one victim, this guy. I think though Armin Hughes, is that how you say the name? I think he often gets looped in with serial killers though, because his case is so shocking. The scenic settings that have been put together are fantastic, honestly. I'm a bit scared to look in here. I don't think you can open this, and I'm not going to. That's incredibly eerie, isn't it? So that, there, that's where I'm pointing. That is Charles Manson's actual guitar. And I think there is a lot of footage and photos, etc., where you can see Manson kind of talking to his followers, and they're singing songs and living quite a hippie lifestyle. And I find that incredibly eerie that now it's there, so close behind glass. And look at the imperfections on it. I truly think this is a fantastic exhibition, because you would never get close to things like this. One of the things I particularly hate about Gerard John Schaefer, is how in every single photo he just seems so happy. Gross. I'm absolutely going to have to do some research when I get home, because there is a lot of names of people that I've actually never heard of. And this is unbelievable. So this is the actual original outfit worn by Nicholas Klaus? Klaus? I'm probably saying that terribly wrong. It's not behind glass again. So you can touch this. You can feel this. The mind boggles. That's crazy. I mean, again, there's some things like Charles Manson's guitar that is behind glass, but other things you can literally just touch, which is why I understand why a lot of people are doing that. Elements of torture. Oh, I was about to say this one reminds me of Dennis Rader. Unfortunately, it is that. I will eventually do a video on Dennis Rader, but pre-warning, that is one of the most horrific cases that I think I know about. Oh God, so coming up the stairs, you've got fear of clowns. It's not the room for you. Just saying, some of these models are so good that they really do feel like they're going to come alive. Really hope they don't. I'm not sure if they've done this on purpose or it's just because we're in like the top of the vaults, but there is a real bad smell in here. And funny enough, that was how he was captured, by a really bad smell emitting from his house. If that's not done on purpose, that's just a really weird coincidence. I'm right underneath the speaker there, sorry about that. So, Jeffrey Dahmer, that was the person that I was trying to think of downstairs, but his name escaped me. This is the one I really don't understand. People are obsessed with Dharma. There is literally a tour that happens in America where people try and speak to Dharma. Yes, he's passed away. So it's via spirit box, etc. What's even weirder is some women get very aroused when apparently they're speaking to Dharma or they've made some sort of connection with him. How messed up is that? One, he was homosexual, so he's not interested in you anyway. And two, the biggest point here, he was a serial killer. We need to get better idols because, I don't know, that's just a bit weird, don't you think? I can't show you that, but I think you understand what sort of scene they're showing. And here's a model of Dharma's head. That's incredibly interesting, isn't it? I love that you could literally pick these up, and I'm sure a lot of people are picking these up and taking selfies with them, but it's kind of mad to leave things that could literally be used again as weapons just out for the public to use. I don't think they're strapped down in any way. No, they're not. Mad. This is one dude that I find particularly sickening, but people have a really weird obsession with him and all of the cases surrounding him. Never understood why. He almost gets a little bit worshipped. I find it really, really strange, honestly. I just think he's menacing. Like, I know they say hindsight's a wonderful thing, and obviously now that you know his crimes, you'll see him as a scary person. But that's a scary dude. I know this is obviously a model and not the real person. It's not real Richard Ramirez, but that's a scary dude. So there is literally an entire room dedicated to Ted Bundy, and I know that makes sense. It's actually a case that I will never personally touch. There is so much on Ted Bundy. He's probably the most well-known serial killer of all time. He hasn't actually killed the most people, but his case got such media attention that so many people know about Ted Bundy. And one of the ways he was found was this car. That noise above me is the trains, as we're directly beneath the train station. That's why sometimes it's incredibly noisy here. Now we've come down to what I think people do consider Dennis Nilsen to be the UK Jeffrey Dahmer, but I've always considered him the UK Jeffrey Dahmer because they had a very similar way of attacking their victims. And weirdly, as they're right here as well, very similar shape of glasses. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on ITV in the UK. Should be on some streaming services if you can find them. There is a show called Des, and I think it's a three-parter. The person who plays Dennis Nilsen is David Tennant, and I think David Tennant should have won an award for his portrayal of Dennis Nilsen because it is one of the best shows about a killer that I've ever seen. And like I say, David Tennant is perfect at portraying Dennis Nilsen. So I've just walked into another room, the very next room, in fact, from this one, and you may have noticed how many male killers there are. And if there is female killers, actually, they normally work alongside a man. For example, Myra Hindley, Ian Brady, Rosemary West, Fred West, for example. But there is not many women. However, when we go into this section, it focuses entirely on women. I've just been speaking to two lovely ladies who are also walking around this experience, and a point was made that you don't really hear of female killers. I mean, all of these women have been able to be put into one room, and this is the room. This is its entirety. Also, how lucky am I for coming at a time that it's not overpopulated? I have come at the earliest slot today, but I'm very, very lucky for that. But these people you don't even hear about, or these women you don't hear about. And she worked with that person, Nico, and I can't say his surname. We will definitely have to look that case up. There's a lot to that. So this space is all dedicated to UK serial killers. This guy is not very well known, but there is a picture of him which I saw when I was a child and it scared the life out of me. Let's see. It is in this room. I've just seen it, so I'll show you that in a second. Harold Shipman having the biggest kill count. What he did was absolutely vile. But I was trying to think who was the most prolific serial killer in the world, and I believe His name is Pedro Filo. I think it's him anyway. I mean, obviously there's people like H.H. Holmes that we don't actually know how many people he killed. But I believe Pedro Filo is the biggest serial killer of all time. That is the picture I saw when I was a child. It scared the life out of me. The fact that this is behind glass, now it could be reproduction, but I have a weird feeling that it isn't. Hang on. Oh, it is reproduction. Wow, that is fantastic because that looks incredibly real. I unfortunately can't show you everything I'd like to show you. There is a lot of rooms that have a lot of scenes made up. They are fantastic. They are incredibly realistic. But it's just another reason that if you get the chance, please come down here. However, this is definitely, don't know why I said it like that, not a place for children. I don't think children are allowed. I don't think anyone under the age of 16 is allowed. But it makes total sense as to why. Wonder what that was. I don't know if you can hear it on my mic, but all of a sudden, all around me made loads of noise. It is really creepy in here. I will say that the atmosphere that they've made is really, really creepy. I know I've said that before, but whew, oh boy. Okay, so this one is particularly fascinating to me. H.H. Holmes. It's actually now been created into a game, Dark Pictures Anthology. I can't remember what the game is called, but I'll put it on the screen. But effectively, he created a hotel with a lot of fake rooms, traps, etc. So once you went in, you weren't coming back out. But he was incredibly elusive. Because it was in the 1800s, he could be. DNA testing, etc., wasn't up to par as it is now. So he got away with quite a lot. And I've just realised who we're looking at in front of me now. This is one of the cases that I will never, ever look into because I just can't bring myself to read up about it. I actually hate this person. Absolutely hate Albert Fish. If you want to read up on that, please do. I don't think I can bring myself to doing a video on that. What I really like as well is on the screens there's a couple of quizzes, and I really like that they are split up into different rooms because then if you miss it, there's double the chance of seeing it again. And obviously if it's really, really busy, then you have a chance of playing it at all. It's just really well thought out. And I know that if we came here at about midday, it would be way busier than this. We are ever so fortunate that this has been our experience. Incredibly empty. Look, the whole room is empty. So at my leisure, I can walk around and see everything. I cannot believe this is another part that I think we will get to when we come around here, but I can't believe how big this place is. Something I thought I'd never see and hoped to never see. The actual medication, if you will, put together to create the lethal injection. Incredible. Jesus. And if you like a bit of VR, there is 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, where you can put on your virtual reality headset and experience something called Grandma, Jack the Ripper 1 and 2, or something called Scarecrow. I mean, the first Jack the Ripper made me jump, so excellent. I'm not too sure why anyone would want a picture of Bundy, but you know, if you fancy that, then you can get him on a keyring or sticker.